Angela, one of the most important things for you is that issue of getting the manslaughter conviction.
Absolutely, yeah. So we got the manslaughter charge. CPS lawyer decided that it was manslaughter. We went through all that, the waiting, a trial, which was nearly a couple of months of trial, and then you don't get the conviction. And all the evidence that we had, and if we didn't get a conviction, then who's going to?
And that's a real worry, isn't it? And that's in the name of, deterrence, genuine deterrence for perpetrators. Knowing that manslaughter is so difficult to prove, it helps them. It's on their side. And what do you want Jess Phillips to hear from you?
I wanted to understand, although the perpetrators abuse them, which is unforgivable, the professionals failed to support them and give them that network of protection around them. They have the right to life, they have the right to feel safe in their environment, and professionals have to get their training, their support networks in place.
And the time for talking is over. You need action now.
Action.
And that's something you'd support.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you want to know what the government is doing.
I'd like to know what Jess Phillips can put into place to help these girls moving forward, because it's okay telling these girls to reach out for help. It's okay police officers turning up to their house, but they're being failed over and over again. And how many young girls need to lose their lives because of this? And action needs to be done, and soon.
The systems don't work. They need to look at the MARAC systems, all the systems they have in place, dash assessment, they do not work. They're so outdated. Today's modern violence, the violence is increasing massively. The type of violence is greater than it ever was 50, 60 years ago. They need to review.
We're losing more girls to suicide because of domestic violence.
Hello, sorry to keep you waiting. Let me just shut the door for you. Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Hello. And, hello, Sharon.
Morning.
Obviously, I know Sharon. Comfortable. So, thank you very much for coming in to see me.
Thank you for listening to us.
When I think about the deaths, and I've spent a lot of time trying to get people to care about the murders and those that are known as lawful killings, always only aware that there are all those that were hidden.
I don't see how it's taken so long, because I highlighted this 7 years ago, and the frustration.
All I can say is politics is slow.
Yeah.
And efforts in this area are, it took decades for coercive control, for example, to be recognised. There are lots of different entry points for a victim to come forward. And we're not short of people for somebody to talk to, whether it's your GP, someone in your kids' school, whether it's the police themselves, social services. Like, when we're, all of those services are under strain, don't get me wrong, but there are plenty of options. It's what people do with that information and act on that information once somebody comes forward, what actually gets put in place. So, for example, the case of Raneem's law, based entirely on a woman who died because when she called the police, she went to the entry point. It wasn't that she didn't try, she tried and failed. And so we have to make it so that the actions that are taken at every entry point, it's not whether people sit and talk to each other, which every review, the reviews will say, people didn't talk to each other. In my experience, it's not that people don't talk to each other. It's that people don't act on the information that they are given.
Blinkered. It's not my agency, not my problem.
Well, exactly.
The silo work.
Yeah. I'm thinking as well, like maybe a bit more training with the police, because obviously it's great having the specialists on the 999 calls, but it's the ones that are actually going to the scene that possibly aren't taking it serious enough.
Agreed. You're absolutely right. So a standard of training in every police officer is, you know, that's a starting point. But actually then how the police are monitored and how they deal, how the performance framework that police have to work to on all sorts of other things, it might be, you know, shocking to hear, but the truth is that currently no performance data is collected from the police on violence against women and girls. Yeah. That is not something that I think is tolerable going forward.
My whole life's changed. It will never go back to the same as it was before. It's just not the same anymore. Losing your child is just, you just can't go back from that. So, and of course everything's on hold as well, still investigations and everything to be done. And 2 years on from losing her, it's not over yet. I would like to see the police trained a lot more to understand coercive control, the response to be better, so victims and survivors, you know, have the trust in the police to do more. I still feel angry. I still feel angry, and obviously, you know, with what's happened, sometimes it's hard to believe there is going to be change. All you can do is, you know, look forward and hope that something will change and this stops happening.
She was failed in life and in death, in your opinion, because her perpetrator wasn't convicted of manslaughter?
Yeah, and the things that they used within that trial.
Mm. And despite the huge amounts of evidence that you had?
It was not guilty for manslaughter.
How does that make you feel?
That she was failed again.
She was. My mother ultimately is bringing up her daughter's baby because she can't, because Kiena was failed. Our family's been failed. You get told to reach out for help and support, which she did.
My daughter reached out over and over again, and she was let down massively.
I think everyone can say the same, because my daughter rung up. She went and tried as best she could to work with the systems within her mental health, with the anxiety and depression, with all the violence. And they reach out, but there's nobody there.
She reached out and she had a baby in her tummy. She reached out when that baby was born, a tiny little baby in that flat, witnessing time and time again Wellings doing that to Kiena.
But hopefully a protection order, had that have been rolled out in Lancashire at the time of Kiena's death in July 2022, I do believe that had that have been in place, that Kiena would be here today, and we could save thousands of families from going through what we've all been through. I really believe that if there was a protection order, if they breached that bail, and that would have, it wouldn't have happened. The 22nd of July would not have happened had they have handled the 11th appropriately on that final assault.
Yeah.
And that's, as you say, that's something you have to live with, which makes grief even harder.
I haven't grieved yet. I don't think we have.
Do you know, I don't know when the actual grief stopped, where I'm at it, because I can't move on, because I have to keep fighting for Jessie. Not for my Jessie, because my Jessie's not here no more, but all the other Jessies and women and people out there, because I have grandchildren. I want them to be safe. I want them to feel the world is a safer place. You can go forward and tell the police. You can go and tell your doctor, because they will take the appropriate action.
Mm. And do you think you can help make that happen?
I have to hope, and I have to try, and I will keep trying, because that's the only thing I have left to do for her. She wanted to live, but she just didn't want to live that life of domestic abuse, and that's the difference.